Let me turn my mic back on before I really get into this. So, welcome, my friends. Thank you for being here. It's nice to be back. Clearly, I need to dust off a little bit of my skills. Leaving my mic muted after the intro is a rookie move. Cheers. Uh, it's not alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, but whatever you got, drink it. Let's enjoy some music today. All right. So, for those who are going to be joining later on and today I'm going to be doing two different playlists of music. So I'm going to scroll through them and play like 30 seconds of a song, maybe have some dialogue with the chat on screen. I did find that in my last couple of videos, talking during the music really got messy. So I'm going to try to keep my comments and like dialogue between the songs. That way, each of the clips and the short edits or clips that I can get from the video will be a little bit easier to understand. The last few they were okay, but they weren't the best. Over the music is just very difficult. The software doesn't do well with that, so I'm going to try to keep the dialogue between the music. After the music sampling and the playlists are finished, what I want to do is start a second section or afterwards where there will be no music played at all. And I want to talk about some new things, some new products that were just launched. I'm going to use other videos and launch videos that were showcased by these brands about the new products. One being the new Linn. I don't know if it's like Linn Acoustics, Linn Products, Linn something. I'm not even really sure what the company name. It's just Linn, as far as I know. If it's Linn Acoustics or something like that. I will be using some of those videos to showcase some of the products. The other product that was very interesting that just came out, so launched maybe Monday or Tuesday, is the new JL Audio Primacy set, which is a powered tower pair or powered bookshelf pair with a preamp module that acts as a central hub for everything. You don't need the central hub. You can buy the speakers on their own. However, they're selling everything all together at, I think it's $150,000. I mean, JL Audio is entering the home audio market at a very high price point, which isn't uncommon. I mean, a lot of hi-fi is that way. You know, you start high and then you trickle down. So who knows, in 10 years, they might be doing some really, really different stuff. Don't be surprised if you see a JL Audio sound bar at some point. So what I'm going to do first is bring on the playlist. If you can comment on the audio, video, if anything is off, please let me know within the stream. Leave it in the comments. Yes, there I am. What's going on? Thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. I know it's about that dinner time. It's a little bit later than my normal, hopefully hitting a different audience. So let's jump into the first thing, which is going to be the Discover Weekly playlist. I'm going to bring up each of the songs. Here we go. So this is just curated by Spotify based on what I've been listening to. Now, this playlist is going to be different from yours and different from everybody else's sort of curated playlist. And the reason why I do this is because my list not being like yours or our playlist being different from each other's allows me to share stuff you might not find. And then in my Discord chat, which you can join for free, just follow the links in the profile, then you can come into the Discord and then you can comment about whatever songs you'd like me to play and then share a playlist that way. But I'm not playing things that are commented on in the chat in live sessions. You'll have to actually participate in the Discord for any requests to go through. So I'm going to share my playlist. We're going to do about 30 seconds. I might jump through some stuff. I'll keep my dialogue between the songs. And then afterwards, we'll get into the Linn Acoustics or Linn Electronics or whatever you want to call Linn audio speakers. The 360s have new drivers, and then JL Audio has their new speakers that are released. So let's start with some music. I'm going to leave it about where it was before, about the same as my voice. Let me know what the volume balance is like. All right, let's check out this song. Thank you for the confirmation there. Ooh. Wow, that was actually really, really nice. So that's Alex Yellin. You can see on the side here, it's a drummer producer from Bremen, Germany. Amazing. I mean, it came in really slow, but I mean the chops on the drums, I mean, it's pretty obvious he's a drummer. You get into the end part of that song there, that was actually really nice. All right, next tune, same volume, well, depending on the dynamics of the songs. Let's check it out. Any comments that I see and read, I will try to talk about from the chat over the songs, but I'm going to try to keep the talking to a minimum. Yusef Days. Amazing bass. Excellent recording quality. Apparently this is live. Very, very laid back jazz there. We'll keep this going. So it's Fazir. So the name of the artist and everything is on the side as well as highlighted in the middle of the screen. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Nice. Very laid back jazz today. So this is a list that got curated and sent out 3 days ago. New to me. Cleo Sol. So, as I said in many other streams, if you are interested in any of the songs, the song titles are here. You can feel free to look them up in another playlist and then play them from whatever platform you're used to. Ooh, be gentle, gentle with myself. God knows this time. Nice. Cleo Sol hitting there with some soft vocals. Let's move it along. There are about 30 songs per playlist, so I'm going to have to rip through these pretty quickly. Otherwise, most of the stream will just be music, and that's not the point. Solid hip-hop influence. pretty relaxing. So song title and artist is on the side over here. Let's check out the next one, Funk Box by Noah Wise. Now, I haven't heard any of these songs, and I'm sharing them just to open up the playlist for everyone else. Maybe we'll find something really cool in here. Who knows? Oh yeah, that's funky. Oh yeah. Solid. Skinny Hightower, Alex Parchment. Yeah, definitely. That's some heavy funk music right there. I like that. Gonna have to listen to that one again. Adjust the volume a bit. I gotta say, I really like funk music. I mean, it's not obvious, right? Like all these songs are suggested because of stuff I already listen to. So it gives you an idea what I listen to most of the time. Yeah, very nice. Free Nations, Eternal Light instrumental. Again, another really funky tune. Nice feel to that tune. Moses Yofi. I think we heard some of these guys a couple weeks ago. The name sounds familiar. Wow, that sounds so cool. Anyone that's curious, got the new speaker hooked up. That's what's going on. They are the Bucart E50s, powered by the Buckeye monoblock and then the Ever Solo Streamer. The Streamer's taking signal from the browser so I can play music at the same time. It's kind of how we have it set up in here. All right, move on to Mayor. 7 stars. Interesting. Try not to sound like I work at a radio station, but kind of can't help it. So comment, True Voice of Reason. I've been hitting up YouTube for mixes based on one specific song search, but each mix ends up different depending on the time of day, it seems. That's weird. So you're searching for the same song, but the search results are different depending on when you're looking for it? That's weird. I don't know why it would do that. That seems really odd. Keep it moving. Show. I don't even know how to pronounce this name, but it's definitely jazz. I think this whole playlist is gonna be jazz. Oh, you're saying the mix is different, so when you're playing it, it sounds different. That's not surprising. YouTube streaming and compression and internet and all that stuff is very different. So if you have bandwidth like compression or whatever that may be throughout the network and you're streamed like 100%, I can understand YouTube not being consistent. That makes a lot more sense. Very nice. Very kinda the tone in the background has it's like a very dark overtone, and I like the way that they're playing the rest of the sounds off of that dark background. Pretty cool. This one's Clapper, songs by the name of Signal. All jazzy and down-tempo vibes today. That's what it seems like. Skip ahead. Cool groove. Alright, let's move up a little bit. Ezra Collection N29. Let's skip up to about a minute and see where we're at. Wow, long intro, same sounds. Excellent bass line. True Voice of Reason, for instance, the channel I follow, Rarest Records. The last update had a track reminded me of Whirlwind and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Interesting way of using emojis and saying that. When I die, I search that song, grab the mix. The lineup is different each time. That's weird. That's weird. Never heard of it. I don't use YouTube to look for a lot of music, to be honest. I have Qobuz and Spotify to look up any kinds of songs, and I have tons and tons of stuff playlists for me. So I have no reason to look up anything on YouTube. It's actually harder for me to find it on YouTube than anything else. And apparently a lot of people use YouTube for music, which is strange. It's got to be the worst streaming platforms there is. But the interface is very useful. This is something I talk to Qobuz about and mention all the time, is if you make your interface too busy, then people are not going to want to use the service. So YouTube being very intuitive and voice activated and all that kind of stuff, then you can just scroll and find whatever you want very, very easily. So people use it a lot. But if your interface is too complicated, nobody's going to want to use it. So many of the same songs are there in different order. What do you mean playlist? I'm not even sure I understand what you're talking about anymore. When you mean order. So yeah, it's weird. The emojis. Yeah, I got it. I get the emoji stuff. So what do you mean by order? Like the same songs are in different order? Like the playlist is just arranged different? a playlist of a band is I mean, it's all user uploaded, right? You're not tuning into a record label or the band itself. I presume it's not the band itself loading different mixes. So I don't really, I mean, I don't use YouTube for music, so I'm not really sure what any of this means. Fascinating though, because I don't ever have to deal with it. Panam Panic. Interesting name. I like the album name though, Love of Humanity. Skip up to a minute. Very laid back sounds. 2 minute. Move it up. This one's Moonchild Hideaway. We'll hit a minute. That's actually a cool sound. A little bit faster. Music that you won't fall asleep to. True Voice of Reason saying in the mix's conglomeration. Oh my God. Speak dumb. We talk through YouTube. Ooga booga. Similarly themed songs, sort of mostly stuff I've already listened to. So is it the same as what I'm doing here? Like, is it a curated list based on, is it YouTube music you're talking about and not just regular YouTube? Because I don't know, again, I don't know anything about it. So you'd have to explain it step by step for me at least, to understand what you're talking about. I don't know anything about YouTube for music, so I don't know what this means. So yeah, and like Discovery Weekly for me on Spotify is stuff that I've never heard before. It's based on what I've been listening to, but I don't expect the list to be anything that I'm familiar with. That's why I'm listening to it that way. If I search for songs, then it's on an album somewhere. It's sorted by album, loaded by record labels, and so I'm not going to run into the same problem as YouTube. So that's interesting. Let's move up. Porto Alto, Glasgow-based future jazz bops, whatever bop means. Yeah, I love finding new music, especially being surprised by new stuff. Pretty cool. Gonna bring us to a minute. Pretty good mix. Two-minute. Pretty cool stuff. I like that. So like what you're doing here, and though through regular YouTube, but not so much unheard music, but so it's just like it's like pressing shuffle. So I'm assuming that it's like through YouTube or whatever, they have like a list of music and you just go in and press, because from what I understand of YouTube is that it's user based, right? So like what I have a playlist of clips that I made and it's in my like Montreal playlist. And then you can go in and I think you can shuffle that playlist so that it plays randomly. That's what they call it, shuffle. You can't do that on a C. Well, I guess you can do that on some CD players. You can't do it on a record player, obviously. And you can kind of do it on a cassette player, but you need an advanced system to actually play the songs in a random order. So that's what I would call shuffle. If you look on screen here, get my face out of the way. This button here is shuffle. It's a random order. So it just plays whatever it is randomly based on the playlist. Now, if it's curated based on what you've played before, then yeah, of course it's going to be different. Like the mix or the order of the songs are going to be different. I thought you meant mix as in the sound of the song itself. Yeah, shuffle works for thank you, because it's literally a shuffle button. This button is a shuffle button. So that I understand. Shuffle is obviously like you would a deck of cards. Things are going to come out in a different order. So that makes a lot more sense. All right, cool. Same page. Snares. Soul food horns. Short song. Lead up to a minute. Pretty nice. Anomaly. Seems like a pretty interesting band. Bring that volume down a little bit. Move to a minute. Interesting. I'm going to put this in my playlist to revisit for later. All right, let's move it up. Christian Scott. This is a cover of something. It sounds a lot like Coltrane song, I think. I'm gonna skip that one just in case. Zenil, Spiral Shank. It sounds like it's gonna be pretty quick, funky music. Push it to a minute. Interesting sound texture. It's pretty funky stuff there. A lot of interesting miking techniques and instrument recording there. You can hear a lot of like close mic textures and details. Pretty cool. Same thing here. A lot of micro detail. Love it. Very nice sort of tones on this. Subtle melody. Let's hear from, what is this? Chris Dave, Daniel Crawford. It's almost got like a hip hop kind of vibe to it. See where the beat goes. Birds are in the song. Nobody freak out. I like this. About 6 or 7 songs left. Really nice song. That's in the selection playlist. So just to let everybody know that when I select these songs and I'm entering them into like my Discovery Weekly playlist, that playlist is available in my profile here. So you can look that up and find all the songs that I've selected. Let's keep this moving. For some of this timeline, we're already over 30 minutes. Mammal Hands. Go to a minute. Nice. Sam Freebish. Chama. Very, very low tempo sort of jazz here today. Push this up to a minute. Same sort of tonality. 2 minutes. Organ solo. Nice. All right. Underground Canopy. Blue Stab. Jazz hip hop. Interesting. Very on the same genre of music today for a weekly discovery. And the interesting thing is if I do this on the mobile app, I have a choice of like which genre to pick from, which is weird. I don't know why you'd have different options like in the browser versus the app versus online or versus your phone. Like apps are different. That's a really strange thing to me, having different features available for different devices. I think that if you're using a software, they would just give you all the options for whatever you needed everywhere, but it's not the case. The same thing with some like Facebook app stuff. Mobile device apps have more features than the desktop do, and I don't know why. RH Factor, let's skip to a minute. Excellent stereo imaging. Pretty cool. Save that one for later. Jazz Boys. Oh. The beat is thick. General keyboard solo there. Kenny Garrett. Let's skip up to a minute. So far through this playlist, it's mostly smooth jazz, slow down tempo stuff, a lot of funky jazz. The next playlist promises to have a lot of different stuff. It's going to be way more exciting. So we'll get into that just after this. Mansour Brown. Shiroi. A little bit of a beat in there. And our last one, Ben Jones, EP3. Yeah, in a way, True Voice of Reason saying like, but smooth jazz must have been what your soul needed this week. In a way, that's absolutely right. Like I was listening to a lot of calmer music, and this playlist definitely shows that. We are going to change it up though. We're going to move into some release radar stuff here, and right off the top, I can tell a lot of this music is going to be more aggressive, half metal, half drum and bass, half dubstep. Some of this stuff is going to be very fast. Some of it's going to be psytrance. Yeah, way more exciting. All right, so release radar, timestamp this one. I don't know where I'm at, 37:47. Convenient a time as ever to change the playlist up with a timestamp. Let's check it out. We're going to do them in order right off the top, and I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit because this promises to be more dynamic. Liquid Stranger, Superstar. Have to stretch. These songs will probably just drop in and then switch them. Definitely louder. Let's go. Couldn't get much more different than jazz than that. I knew that was coming. I've fair warned everybody. And how's the volume balance? Anybody out there lets me know even after the fact. Like, how does it sound? Does it get worse with the turning the sound down, up when it changes? I just need to know how to balance it out on my end. Someone's fine print, verdict, a little slow drum and bass or dubstep sound. Let's move on. Killbox and Rush. This one's also going to be pretty aggressive. Yeah, a lot of the drum and bass stuff is definitely louder mixed. Jazz stuff isn't as compressed, so some of their dynamics don't hit as loud. So I'm going to manage this just by turning it down on my end. Hopefully that works, because it's hard to tell. Especially if this app is controlling the volume and automatically adjusting it, that'll suck. Hello, Mirage Bryson. Welcome to the show. I did just roll into the release radar, so the music is definitely more aggressive than the previous playlist. With another example here, Architects featuring Daniel Joseph. Proves to be a metal tune of some kind. Maybe this is a remix of some kind. Yeah, it's a remix. Yeah, I'm trying to manage the volume as best I can on my side. As long as it doesn't peak out, that should be okay. Try to be respectful of everybody else's systems, but I don't have like full mixer controls here.
You wouldn't wanna stand beside me when I'm living on the edge. Take me to the place where the heavens.
So this is like an electronic version of this song. That's kind of cool. Check out AC Slater, Rampage. Sounds funky. It's like garage sound, house music.
There's no ifs, no ands, no buts, no whys and hows. There's a left on a rampage.
That's funky. I like that. Interesting. Be Mine by AK and Sublab. He's been doing some housey stuff lately, so let's see how this one goes. They can be so bold as to step away from the stream for a minute. You know how nature calls. Forgive me for my absence. Good song to take a break on, though. Pretty nice song from what I heard. Apologies for that. My body just doesn't agree with doing anything for any amount of time. When I get calls of nature, I have no choice but to answer immediately. That's the problems of having such issues as IBS, Crohn's. Moving on in the playlist, let's check out Virtus and Every Person. Yeah.
A drop of blood on the dashboard, fingers wrapped around the wheel. Telling myself that your score.
Nice to see a collab here with Virtus.
I gauge by your reaction to see just where you have been. Trying to go past who I was back then. And I don't want this journey to end, because I'll have to reinvent myself again. All these negative voices grow colder. I can't do this.
Pretty nice song, actually. I like that. So that's Every Person, and Virtus is one of the vocalists. Very excellent. The question here was, feel refreshed and said, well, I feel relieved that I was able to make a pause and get away from whatever I'm doing, because it's not always that easy. And that's one of the reasons why I don't go out a lot, which sucks because my mobility is hindered by the fact that my body absolutely has no sense of patience. It's immediate or you're going to have more than just trouble. So, yeah, I guess refreshed is a good way to put it. Alexis French, what's going on here? Oh, the pianist. And hello and welcome to those that are listening, to all the 4 people I see online. Thank you for being here. We are going to get into some HiFi news afterwards. I got a couple of things that I want to talk about. The stream may end up being about 2 hours-ish. It's moving on to 8 p.m. at this time. And the next song promises to be way more aggressive, so I'm going to adjust the volume a little bit. That was Alexis French. This is Archspire, which is a pretty crazy metal band. And that's how they get you. They bring you in with the nice guitars, and then they hit you with a strange drop and vocals. Sorry. Okay, so to be honest, this is not one of my favorite bands at all. I think the musicianship of it is pretty cool. I don't think it's recorded good enough to understand everything in streaming. This needs a CD. This needs a way higher quality, clarity sort of platform, because his vocals are so fast and they're all distorted and they're in the background in the middle of a already compressed music, which is dense. This needs a better streaming platform. That absolutely sounded terrible. I'm going to skip this band because people won't stop talking about them. If you guys know who this band is, or this band is Angine de Poitrine. I'm not even playing it. I'm going to skip straight to Pliny. Skip this one. No. Skip to a minute. Not bad for Pliny. Always appreciate his music. Great talented guitarist. Let's hear from Symbolico. I'm going to skip to a minute. Mirage saying, I can't do Engine de Poitrine because I don't get it. It makes no sense to me, yet they are popular. And that's the thing about today's day and age, is like weird, cringy, out of the normal sort of, you know what I mean? Like that's popular now because we've gotten so much formulaic bullshit from so many different artists that it's all kind of the same. So as soon as a band like that looks weird, plays weird, it's not untalented. But as soon as that emerges as something that's very strange, now that they're super popular, you're going to see 10 more bands just like it, because the labels and people who sell music for money are going to want to copy whatever's popular. That's actually kind of gross. But I don't get it either. And because it's trendy, I don't want to join on just because it's different. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can't do it either. I hear you. All right, we're going to move on. This is Colm, Mycelia. I'm going to skip up to a minute. Progressive rock. Psychedelic rock, maybe. We're more than halfway through this list. 3 minutes. So they're very like progressive metal, Tool-esque kind of sound. Let's bring up Simula. Proves to be a drum and bass track. I've needed a new one, to be honest, and drum and bass is a better demo kind of genre for me at HiFi shows because it's not as aggressive and weird sounding to people as heavy metal. When I play metal with harsh vocals, people really freak out. But if I play drum and bass, they're more interested in drum and bass, so I'm always looking for a new song to play. It's more palatable. So if we get a winner, I'll be adding it to my playlist. Yeah, True Voice of Reason rightfully says different is one thing, good and listenable is another thing altogether. Yeah, and the later two, like the later two are very subjective, so that's not the debate. But different is definitely one of those things. It's snowing again here. I just had to. I'm so sorry it's snowing up that way. It is cold here too, to be honest. Like the cold air just won't let go. This is the coldest I've ever felt it this far into the spring, which is fine. I don't mind it. I don't really want the hot weather. I don't do well with hot weather. I sweat when I don't need to be sweating. So I don't mind the cool air, but snow where you're up north, oh God, I feel bad. Let's move on. We're going to hit Wings. Give you anything. Usually kind of dubstep, drum and bass-ish. We'll see where they go with this one. Snow of the 70s. No, definitely not that either. You could have also used Snow from the 90s, and that's a different music artist. So this is Wings to Give You Anything. What's he gonna do? That's creepy. Okay, you got our attention. The build-up was too long. I'm so impatient. I'm like, give me the beat. God damn it. Well, that was worth the wait. I can get behind that. All right, fine. You convinced me. I'll add that to my playlist. It's going to go in my special drum and bass playlist if anybody's curious. Let's move on. We're going to hear Ways. This one's called Crux. Promises to be somewhat the same, usually drum and bass, and I really need this kind of music. It gives me energy that nothing else does. So I'm happy to share this with everyone. Thank you for being here. 10 more songs, and we'll get into the news. So if you're curious, that wasn't your speakers, that was the song. The song's definitely fully distorted. It's not my favorite sort of sound. They use it a lot in this kind of club music because it separates the frequencies across the band. When you're in the club, you can feel the lower bass, and that upper bass mid-range texture really cuts through everything. You don't need it in hi-fi. It's just mixed a certain way. This band, I think, is a female metal singer, Mafra. Should be interesting.
Cut down the altar!
Oh, female singer. Let's skip ahead.
I wanna know if there's no heat when I escalate. The fire is cold. There I go. This could all be yours. Feel the weight of my head.
Not bad.
All be yours if you wake a bird today. Try to cut down the altar. It could all be yours. Won't you second in the flame?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't dislike it. Not my favorite. I think the vocal sort of recording shows like a lot of her quality, so that's cool. Darko US. This is interesting. So yeah, my son loves this artist. She's pretty good. Yeah, Mafra's got a lot of popularity lately as a female singer and very good quality sound there. Really interesting. Speaking of different, I like listening to Luna Lee. Plays. I'm assuming that's a Korean stringed instrument. Gaya Guyam. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. So these are instruments. Sam Edelson. Here they're versions of things like, oh, so they do covers on other kinds of instruments. That's pretty cool. So I have to listen to her on YouTube with the video, and she... no, I don't know about having to listen to it with the video. I mean, I've seen people bring up Mafra on their videos to like watch her sing and like that kind of stuff. But the visuals for me don't always give it that extra, you know what I mean? And if I'm listening to it on YouTube with the video instead of like, you can play videos on Spotify too. Some of these songs actually have music videos attached to it, so you can watch the video of it on Spotify, and it's a better streaming platform. So yeah, so they are both good. So those cover songs, all right, that's interesting. Right. Corn. Didn't know they had new music. Very classic sort of horn sound. Very, very classic horn sound. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm not going to play much more of that because that's a new Korn song and they're popular as hell. This was by Bensley, Flutter. I think Korn will be playing in Toronto this summer. Yeah, most likely. They're popular enough and such a huge band that they play like big tours like that. So no doubt, festival-wise, I'm sure my friends are going. Bensley. What does Bensley have for us today? Skip to 130. That's better.
I made him mine. It's all I have. Waiting for you.
Interesting sort of cut. It goes from like that slow beat right into drum and bass. That's very interesting. This one's by Mew, Cryogen. Very noisy. Sorry about that. Yeah, not my favorite kind of music. I'm gonna just skip over that. This one's by Getter. The song's called Lung. Going to be a dubstep sound for sure. Entrepreneur, actor, comedian, just a few titles. Promises to be interesting. Let's check it out. Watch your subwoofers. Always a very long build up for these tracks. Come on, dude. Can't interrupt the build up because then it spoils it. Pretty interesting. Not the best. What I find about dubstep though is it's too slow for me. My mind just goes, come on, get on with it. This is Go Ping and Kaido. Oh no. The thing about this music, like when I'm playing these playlists, sometimes I don't know the artist at all. I have no idea what it's gonna sound like. And that's what makes it exciting to scroll through with friends because then I'm not the only one experiencing it at that moment. Same way with like going to live bands and listening to an opening band you've never heard before. The joy is looking at your friend's face if you really like it. You're both locked in, and then it becomes very exciting to share music like. I mean, and if you don't like it, it's even funnier. Like, I don't know what that was, but Go Ping went away. Yuna Sarita. That's a palette cleanser if I've ever bought one. Alright, 2 more songs. Even though I don't want to stop playing that one, I'm gonna have to. This one's going to be aggressive. This is phase 1 and front bass. Bass reminds me of Senfield. Very, very funky bass. Aggressive song. If the bass drop doesn't impress, oh boy. Oh man, I mean, like, to me that was not worth it. That's just my taste in music, but like, wow, sorry about that, everyone. This one looks to be maybe hip hop. It's the last one on the list, then we'll move into some news. Stick with me, please.
Who let me outside? Fool when I'm outside, and I keep cool like it's too windy outside. New limits arise, no limits in mind. Let's get it. Hey. Thought they had us cause they always underestimate the savages. Lately it's less words and more percentages and balances. The way I pick the pace up, think I found the rabbit talisman. Me and Toki run the game, we going back to back with it. A lot of people think they pulling strings, I'm not a puppet. I'm the type to see the stakes is high and try to up it. They look at me as if they saw a ghost, I saw a duppy. I'll do this shit again just to show I wasn't lucky. Lucky I can't be punished.
All right, well, that's interesting. You win some, you lose some. That's how it goes. I'm going to pull this one off, and then we're going to get into some news. First thing that I want to do is bring up the Linn video. Share this one. Get rid of the music. All right. So welcome to those who have stayed here. This is an hour and 10 minutes in. And now that we're finished with all the songs, I'm going to make 2 clips of this. This will go out as a video for those who didn't join live. You'll see each of the videos. That's what I'm choosing to do now because I'm doing multiple things in my lives at once. So yes, real rap, not mumble rap. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, where you can hear everything that they're saying, that's much more valuable. So in this section, I want to talk about new technologies. This week, Linn announced new driver technologies that will be going into their future going 360 loudspeakers. They're calling it Pistonic Drive, which is, I have some thoughts about this technology, and I think I'm just going to wait and bring on my friend Nick so we can talk about driver tech, because it's going to be very like engineering-ish. I don't want to bore a lot of people with stuff like this if you're not interested in driver tech. So here's Linn's 360 speakers. This is a video by Ripcaster in the UK.
Linn designed low-frequency drive units achieve ultimate linearity across an enormous excursion range with astonishingly low distortion and unrivaled accuracy.
I love that they're using the word unrivaled accuracy. I would like to see some measurements, please. Because otherwise that's just talk. It's very interesting marketing and media. But anyway.
At the core is our Pistonic motor system, producing flawless force over its entire range of travel, even when driven extremely hard.
So the idea is that they're improving on technologies that allow the driver to do what it's supposed to do without losing to either physics or thermodynamics.
Immersed in ultra-stable magnetic saturation, it reduces distortion and improves agility and responsiveness.
Kind of exactly what I just said.
Pistonic's triple-layered ventilation network lets air flow freely and silently for smooth, supple motion.
So I don't see 3 layers. I see 3 points. I see a vented pole piece, I see a coil vent on the bottom, and then
It also
the former is vented underneath the cone. So that's not layers, but it's 3 different points of airflow.
draws away heat.
Says, notice the sound wasn't the best. Notice the sound was in the beat of a heart. What, in this video?
Keeping performance stable for hours on end. Advanced simulation informed a bespoke suspension that stays linear to the limit, then stiffens predictably for total control. Hard aluminium diaphragms banish resonances whilst keeping mass low and efficiency high. With exact technology, every unit is laser measured, characterized and digitally corrected. So what you hear in your room is the reference speaker. The result? Deeper, cleaner, more controlled bass with total accuracy, and the widest truly linear excursion of any low-frequency drive units ever.
I would love to see them prove that. That's a bold statement. I mean, you guys know what speakers I have here, right? I've already shown them off. Like, the ones that are known for ultra low distortion and linearity are the Purify drivers. They're already, measured and proven and sought after and all that other stuff. So with advertising like this, like, I know they have a job to do, but at the same time, like, when you're making statements and you're making claims, and they have to be real, you can't just say stuff. So I hope it's true. So that's the Linn loudspeaker. Now I want to just go through this. I'm going to have this gentleman Philip talk about it a little bit here.
From our perspective, so it's really lose less, which is about the source. We're very much known for our sources. Lose any information at the beginning, you're never going to get it back. And obviously our job.
So this is Loud and Clear Glasgow. I am subscribed to these guys. I did like the video.
Is to faithfully reproduce recorded music. So if you lose less, the rest of the job is just add nothing. No distortion, no interference, no noise. And that way all you're reproducing is that original signal. We don't want to add any of our own character, any of our own flavor. It's just about reproduction of that recorded signal. And that filters into everything that we do. And
their exact technology actually aims to keep everything accurate to source. They have DSP correction, the drivers. I'm not sure if he's going to pick these drivers up, but you can see the one on the left. The tower on the left of him is the old drivers with the outward surrounds. And then the new drivers have a downturn surround. So their the diaphragm position inside the baffle is different for the different towers. I want to also talk about JBL. JBL just launched the Primacy series speakers, which are powered multi-driver towers and a two-way bookshelf. They were just showcased by a number of different channels. I will keep a lot of the information about Linn and all this stuff for another episode. I will just kind of quickly go through the news, as it were. So here's a short clip by Garmin, which I believe is like a parent company for JL Audio. I'm not really sure. Let's check this video out, shall we?
What is perfection? It's not just what's in front of you. It's also what you don't see, what you don't hear. Introducing JL Audio Primacy. Audio in its ultimate form. Primacy is the culmination of decades of research, development,
ultimate form. Okay, that's a bold claim.
And drive. Its elegant all-metal enclosure is designed for superior sound, just like every other element of our full-size 3-way T6 tower speakers, each featuring 4 woofers, 3 integrated amplifiers, and high-performance digital signal processing. The system seamlessly integrates with your...
This is a cool feature. I will definitely give them that. Like, I know that Focal came out with the Diva and Meze Utopia speakers that have changeable pads on the side, 4 amplifiers, 3-way drivers, all that kind of stuff. They have essentially the same thing going on, and Focal came out with their speakers earlier in the year. So I assume that JL has been working on this for a while, and KEF LS60s have came out, and yeah, so Garmin is supposedly the parent company. At least that's what Sean and Joe said yesterday. Oh, I never saw their video. What was yesterday? Tuesday? Yeah, I saw Audioholics and Shane, and I think I have a little bit of their video on here, but I didn't see anything else. But yeah, I think Garmin is the parent company. I'm pretty sure you're right.
Your decor, thanks to easy-to-change cosmetic panels, available in a variety of premium.
So I think that this is amazing. This new feature of having interchangeable panels on speakers like this is such a great idea. Having like an inner cabinet that is the actual cabinet and does the work, and then you can change the panels however you want. That's brilliant.
Finishes. At the heart of this system is the Primacy Centerpiece, offering complete control of your audio sources with adjustable profiles.
Complete control. I love these like over-the-top terms. Instead of just control, it has to be complete control.
So no matter what you're listening to or who you're listening with, you'll get incredible audio every time. And ultimate control.
This is another part. This idea of having like a Bluetooth capable remote that lives on your coffee table or your desk or couch that has a knob and other selectors on it. This is brilliant. This is some of the thing that Moon Audio's doing with their North collection. They have a really, really nice angled Bluetooth volume knob. I suggested the same thing to Eversolo. I think Eversolo makes so many different streaming devices now that have these capabilities that I think that in their line, if they wanted to bring something else that was very high quality for their brand, that they would introduce a wireless sort of remote like this to pair with all of their devices, because it would be the one thing that customers can get into and keep buying. I mean, you don't need to always buy a new streamer, but you could definitely buy a new remote. Complete control. Not going there. Yeah, it needs to be said though, because a lot of this marketing stuff, whoever they're talking to, they make a lot of hyperbole sort of praise and claims, and they make these statements that sound, amazing on their own. But then when you look around and you compare it to everything else, and you listen to somebody else's brand say the same thing, then you have to ask the question, well, who's telling the truth and what are they basing it on? I mean, they're doing their job, but if you want to be critical about it, which most of the time they don't, that's a whole other episode too.
At your fingertips. Plus, you'll get incredible sound in any room with Primacy Automatic Room Optimization, which also extends to any additional powered subwoofers. This is the peak of simplicity and performance.
So I think that that's pretty cool that they have built-in room correction and bass management control for their subwoofers. That's definitely a thing. Definitely, let me see. I want to go over the internals of the tower. I want to just peek at what Gene was talking about. Let me see. Did they pull the whole front panel down? No, it's in a different video. Apologies. I'm looking for the right video source here so I can showcase a little bit about it. There's a little bit of talk about the drivers themselves. This is from Audioholics and Shane Lee.
Love the W7 driver. Why did you go with a 5.5-inch driver for a tower speaker? You got 4 of them, so that's an equivalent surface area of like an 11-inch driver, right?
Yes. One of the factors that we were very aware of, we wanted a narrow frontal presentation, so
narrow
that the
back was a good idea.
Visually unobtrusive, I guess, and it would be easy to listen around the speakers. So I
I mean, JL Audio is definitely like they've been number one for making their own drivers in the US for car audio for a long time. So I think this is a long time coming.
I find particularly trouble.
And I can only hope that they make some passive versions in the future, because you think about like with these speakers, they look great. They have a lot of features on them. The LED is questionable. The panels are great, but not everybody's going to get rid of like all of their stuff at home in order, like their preamp, their amps, all that stuff. They may want to because it'll save space. But, you know, not everybody's going to want to do that. If they came out with passive versions, I'm sure that they would appeal to some people.
Troubling when the speaker has a very wide front baffle.
Mhm.
I think it takes away from the imaging and takes away from the presentation. So we knew with a 5 1/4 we could not only get really good mid-range, but also with our large woofer specialty that we could get ample bass from it as well.
So you must have a really
So
long
that's a nice
throw.
photo of the driver. That's what I wanted to talk about. They make really, really good drivers. That's a large spider underneath, a lot of throw, a lot of space for their connections, cast basket. Looks really, really cool. I think they've done a pretty good job. Vented underneath, so the coil's got a lot of overhang here. Good top plate, bottom plate, venting across the coil there, or the former, and then stitched leads. That's pretty cool. You guys can see here that the positive and negative leads, or one side or the other, are stitched into the fabric, which is a thing that you can get from like car audio to keep it away from the movement. So if this is a long throw and it's moving back and forth, the tinsel leads can sometimes hit the cone, and you don't want to have that. So they stitch them into the spider a lot of the times for car audio just to keep them out of the way. So I think that's pretty incredible. The tweeter also looks really cool. This looks like, I don't know what kind of tweeter that is. That's a very interesting design. What are you thinking about?
Impedance of the driver that it's responsible for, thereby
on it.
So I think it was just a preference for us for direct radiators, and the 26 millimeter tweeter in the primacy with the carbon diaphragm.
That's really cool. So that they've done some geometries there on the back end, probably to deal with the rear wave, which is a very clever thing to do.
Is just one of the best tweeters that I've ever heard. So
I heard a lot of airiness, a lot of detail in that tweeter. So it sounded almost like an AMT kind of experience to me.
Yeah, it's a very, very capable tweeter.
All right.
Cool. Well, I believe that's all I have for news. If you guys have any questions, I think now is the time to bring something up. There wasn't a whole lot else that I could share. Maybe I can share a couple of things, stuff I've been working on at home. A lot of you guys probably realize that I've been doing a DIY kit. So just give me a second. Let me pull that material up here. So I've got the cabinet made. You guys can see crossovers in the back. I've attached the crossover with silicone and screws. Originally, it was supposed to go down here in the bottom, but there's not enough space. So with the terminal cup, let me see if I can do this. The terminal cup goes in here. See my fingers? And if the crossover goes in the bottom, then it actually bumps into the inductors. So I've made some feedback clips I've written to the designer. These are pretty rough. A lot of glue, a lot of sanding. I have quite a bit of stuff to do with these. They're not bad. I mean, for having an open sort of, it's not bad. 5-inch, 1-inch tweeter. I'm going to sand them down. Then I decided to make them pretty simple in terms of finish. Actually bought a sander in order to do that. So I've waited a little while before I could finish the project. And then I decided on a very simple paint. The paint that I want to use is like that. It's like a speckled, spattered paint where it's got like little bits of like white on it. You guys can see that, right? Something simple. So I'm going to do my best to finish the cabinet, smooth it out. Because it's DIY and I know it's not going to be perfect, I didn't want to do anything in gloss, which would be ridiculous. Not doing it in just primer. So what I want to do is actually primer it in black, first of all, get a solid base down. Then I'm going to speckle over it. So there's going to be some texture on it, which means I want to protect the bottom with some feet, make sure that I'm not scuffing the bottom of the cabinet. And this is really cheap and easy to just retouch the paint. You know, if I spray over an area where it gets damaged, like the previous video I have online, if you guys want to watch my unboxing video just recently, you'll see some details about finish and about repairing a finish. So this speckled sort of rough textured paint will allow me to finish them in such a way that it won't be, I mean, it's unusual. First of all, this is like something you use in like car audio, which is, you know, where I came from in terms of like the DIY stuff. I came from that world in DIY and car audio. So I don't mind that so much. And with a cabinet that's got so much glue on it and, you know, like this kind of finish, it's going to be uneven. And I didn't really do like the best job with it. I knew that. This is the first sort of time that I've done cabinets that are in a kit like this, and I'm learning from my experience. So I knew it wasn't going to be perfect. So my option for finishing it is it's a reflection of the kind of quality that I expect, which isn't going to be great. Like I said, if I had it in gloss is really hard to do. I've never done like high quality gloss before. I don't know what kind of shop you need. I don't know, like if dust falls on it, like I don't have a clean room. It's really hard to do some of these like professional level stuff, which is what you don't get with DIY. If you're doing it on your own, you have to learn from the experience, figure out what you're getting into, know what tools you need, how to execute the techniques to make it look the best. And even then, it's not going to be like the best because you don't have a full process a lot of the times, unless you've been doing it for a while, to make it look like anything that's professional. They have giant budgets and spaces in order to make that stuff work. So I don't ever expect the DIY stuff to look like that. But my learning from the experience was very important. I learned a lot about point-to-point soldering that I didn't realize before. Also techniques and how to deal with crossover boards, positioning. There's other things like I also want to bring my friend Nick on to talk about a little bit about this, because what he does is build them by hand as well. AGY would also be a really cool person to bring on and talk about point-to-point soldering, and like not DIY because they do finished product for customers, but it's very different and unique that maybe there's a technique in point-to-point soldering that I don't know yet. And having a kit proved to me I didn't have the skills, I don't have the knowledge, and I'm learning as I go. So the reason why I got frustrated to begin with is because I guess I had some expectations. Then I also looked at some of the details and thought, well, this could have been designed a little bit different. This is a little bit tight. This is not, this doesn't seem to be accurate. It could be other options. So it's a learning curve against my patience. It's a learning curve for how to deal with certain things. And at the end of the day, I think that they're going to be pretty incredible. I heard them at Montreal and I knew I wanted them right away to learn from the experience. So yeah, it should be really interesting. I still have like I referred to my previous video, the unboxing. I have that speaker to come back. Actually, I guess I can share this this photo. Screen share window. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen, I did an unboxing where The KEF speakers arrived earlier this week, and the unboxing experience didn't go perfectly. You guys can go back and watch that video. You'll see my raw, uncut, unedited reaction to that day. But I have these speakers coming. Then I still have the Black Ocean audio speakers on the way. I still have obviously the E50s are with me. The Monitor Audio Studio 89s I have. And then I'm looking at getting my home theater system upgraded within the next couple months. So there's other things there coming. So I'm going to have a lot of bookshelves to compare. I think it's going to be like 6, maybe even 7 pairs of bookshelves to play with over the next little while. So it should be rather interesting. Once they come in, I'm going to try to do my best and like evaluate them a little bit at a time, let them break in, give them their fair shake, and then we'll get to it after that. So as far as like the DIYs are concerned, they don't even belong in the same category, but they do in the way that they make a sound, they play music. And a lot of people love to like recategorize things like, oh, that's not a fair comparison. It's not apples to apples. It's, price point. It really depends on what your denominator is, right? Like if you want to compare for sound, then everything is included. You could go from like your ear pods to the new Wilson Wham system. They all make sound. But if you're looking at price points, then it's a category of price ranges that you can compare based on what you're going to spend. So what's the priority? You want to have best sound for price range, right? Like that's the general consensus. You want to spend a certain amount and get the best sound in that category. Or maybe you're looking for a type of character of sound. Now that could be different, right? It just depends on what you're testing for. So it should be interesting. That's what the whole experience is for. That's why I bought the kit and built it. And, I'm experiencing what it means to finish a cabinet and get glue all over the place. Should be good though. I'm looking forward to it. Probably also get high trying to paint them. I don't have a paint room. Where am I supposed to paint them? I can't fault you as compared to my own experiences. I started playing with electronics at a later single digits. Interesting. 50 years ago. So I just kept practicing and it gets better as you go. Of course, the same thing with anything. I mean, any kind of practice at all, if you don't have someone guiding you, teaching you like in schools or whatever, or if you don't practice it, you don't have exposure to things, then you don't know a lot of stuff, the tools, techniques, names, things that are appropriate. That goes for everybody. I mean, and online too, the strange thing is we're all strangers. So to come up with anything at all, any kind of advice to point something out, you don't know what people know or not unless you're asking. And the strange thing about online is you get advice before you get questions, which is really, really, really not the way to go about conversations. Yeah, of course. Of course. We all learn. And the whole point is to have like the best experiences at the end of it all, right? So it is what it is. I mean, I'm putting my learning curve out there and I should know better what to expect from a public that doesn't know me, probably doesn't care. And most of the time people just want to talk about what they know. That's the strange thing about people in psychology is, oh, I know. Instead of what does this person really need? And can I offer help instead of I'm going to just throw help in their face because I know what I'm talking about. It's really interesting sort of dynamic. I mean, not everybody's a good teacher. I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. Where's my blue light? Now I'm blue in the face. Not everybody's a good teacher. Some people just like, they don't know how to share or talk about or relate or whatever it is. And I don't expect people online to be teachers. If I want to know something, I'm going to ask. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to go to the sources that I think know the best. And Yeah, just like that. Is what it is. Anyways, we are approaching the 1 hour, 40-minute mark. Thank you for being here, you beautiful human beings. I don't know when my next video will be. I don't have anything scheduled as of now. I think I'm going to do some of the sanding of the cabinets tomorrow, maybe outside if it's really nice weather. It looks like it's about should be stable, cool weather, but I don't want to do that in house because one, MDF dust is poisonous for you. You should be wearing a mask while you're doing that. If it gets in the house and the smell is in here, I also don't want to do that. The painting, I'm going to have to figure out how to spray and paint and have the, like, if I'm going to do that inside, outside, I can only do them like one at a time. I can do it outside. It's, you know, like that's the other thing about DIY is I live in an apartment where I don't have a space to do this stuff. I could wrap my bathroom in plastic, but it doesn't vent well. So I can't spray in there. And if I'm using sawdust, then, you know, I need a vacuum system. So these are things that are like in place in factories that can do all the stuff and have no problem. So another part of the learning curve is like I'm trying to do this in an apartment where I have barely any space to put a table down. I don't even have a table. I don't have a dining room table. I barely have a desk. If I show you my desk, which I can do by doing this, you guys see this. This isn't a desk. There's no space here to actually work on anything. So if I have to like glue and put a cabinet together, or if I'm doing anything at all, I can't do it here. It's just not possible. So there's a lot of, like I said, it's unless people are asking questions first online, a lot of the advice, a lot of the insights, unless they're like provable facts, I could just look somewhere. It's all, you know, it is what it is. It's public, it's socializing. I can't control people. So I just have to figure out something of my own to deal with whatever it is that happens. So is what it is. I'm actually looking forward to finishing up the kit because I want to bring the designer on and I want to talk with him about my experience and maybe share some feedback. I mean, it's no knock against the company. It is what it is. They do what they got to do. I chose to buy in and I'm learning about it as I go. So it's not against them at all. Despite what other people may have said in my comments, I'm not trying to discredit a company for something that is going on. I'm reporting facts the same way a journalist would. You don't shit on the messenger, right? Like you don't shoot the messenger is the term. The whole point of saying something is to shed a light on something that might have a solution to improve in the future. QC is the same thing. If QC shows up and says, "Hey, I found this," you don't look over at QC and say, "Shut up." QC is there to save your business. That's how I think of it anyways. So that is what it is. Thank you for joining me today for this stream. Very much for sharing your thoughts, being here live in chat. Take care of yourselves, stay warm, stay hydrated, all that other, you know, superfluous stuff. I'll see everybody in the next little while. I don't know when the stream's going to be, next videos. One more unboxing, a couple of demos, tests. I need to get some of that stuff done. I have doctor's appointments. I'm going to be looking forward to going back to work in the next couple of weeks. Trying to anyways. My shoulder is the really big hang up now. I've recovered from the surgery. Crohn's is an ongoing problem that I have to get a dietitian for. Other therapies that I've got to take, mental and otherwise. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just kind of trying to do my best and lower the noise, right? So cool. See everybody later. Thank you very much for being here. Mirage, True Voice, take care of yourselves. I will see you in the future.